Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I hope all of you are doing good. So, before we begin with the live stream, please make sure to like the live stream and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's been almost 1 month since we started this YouTube channel, and we are already past almost 600 subscribers. So I would really appreciate if you would like the live stream, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you can also follow me over Twitter. And by the way, the links, you're going to find all of these links in the description of this live stream. You can follow me over Twitter. The handle is Shylock Whale, and you can join my Discord channel. I regularly share the updates, analysis, and things over my Twitter account. And if you would like to have a more organized feed, then you can simply just join my Discord server. The link, once again, it's right below in the description of this YouTube live stream. Once again, if you just joined in, I would be announcing $100 giveaway at the end of this live stream. So please make sure to stay tuned, because I would be announcing the winner as soon as the live stream ends. And if you have not participated in the giveaway, all you have to do is just go to my Twitter account, like the pinned post and retweet the pinned post, and that's all you have to do in order to participate in the giveaway. And I would be announcing the winner of the giveaway for those of you who are present in this live stream. Right? So just quickly make sure to like this tweet, retweet this tweet, and then just quickly come in and join the live stream. What do we have to do to participate? You just have to like this tweet and retweet it, and then you just have to join the live stream. Please make sure to be in the live stream, because I would be announcing the winners from the members who are texting in the chat box. Anyways, so let's start the live stream. By the way, before I begin with the analysis and everything, I am currently into short trades. Although we have a few short trades open, like one on Zeta, one on Hook. But the two most recent short trades that I opened, one is on BTC. I know that over my Twitter account, I mentioned this thing that you need not to be taking any short trades on Bitcoin, because we just had this impulsive break towards the upside. And if you guys have been watching some of my previous updates and analysis, you would know this thing that I always warn you against trading the rejections or the bounces of the trend lines. Now, this is exactly the reason right in front of you on the screen. Whenever you see these sort of trend lines information, never ever try to take a short trade, because the break above, it's not just about the BTC chart, but it could be just any other chart, right? Never ever try to take a short trade, never ever try to trade the rejections of the trend line. Now, the reason for this is because, all those people who would be taking the short trades, beginner traders, amateurs, they would be taking the short trades, and they would be placing the stops above these highs. So people taking the short, they would have placed the stops above this high, above this high, above this high, and above this high, which means that there is an obvious sort of liquidity pool generated in this region, which means that if at any point price breaks above this trend line, all these stops would be triggered here, which means that since people all those people who would be taking their short positions, they would have their buy stops placed around here, which means that if the buy stops would be triggered, there would be more buying taking place, right? Whenever the long positions they are closed, this means that the selling is taking place, and whenever the buy positions are closed, whenever the short positions are closed, it means that buying is taking place. So whenever the price impulsively breaks above these sort of trend lines, there is an obvious sort of buying taking place, and you would see an impulsive move towards the upside. That's why I recommend people trading against this trend line. whenever you see this sort of trend line information, never ever try to take a short trade. And whenever there is this type of trend line information, never ever try to take a long trade. And this is the I would say this is the mistake that the majority of the beginners usually do. They would be seeing this trend line information, they would see price bouncing off this trend line, and they would try to take the long trade at the bounce of the trend line. And a similar thing they would be doing at the rejection of this trend line, because they think that since price has bounced or rejected from this trend line 1, 2, 3, 4 times already, it would be happening another time. But that's not really the case. A lot many people who are doing this mistake, they would have the stops placed above this area, and we know that market always is searching for these stops anyways. So I am in this very risky Bitcoin short position. It's an absolute degen short position. I shared this only in my Discord server, not over Twitter account or not anywhere else. So it's completely up to you if you would like to take this short position. The 5-minute structure, if you would read my last post over Twitter, I mentioned that the 5-minute structure on BTC just turned bearish, so try not to chase price randomly opening long positions. Although, the previous one said that, it's only a matter of time that we would go up to 68K. I would be explaining the reason for that also. But this Bitcoin short, it's right there on the entry. If you would like to take a short position, you can enter at the current market price, but it's completely up to you. It's an absolute degen risky short position. The only reason for taking this short position is because on the 5-minute time frame chart, if I take you guys to the 5-minute time frame chart, you can clearly see that the structure shift has happened. This is your last break of structure. This was your last break of structure, right? Which means that this is your change of character, with price breaking and closing a 5-minute candle close below this low. And then you got another break of structure in this new bearish leg, which means that on the 5-minute time frame chart, the structure has changed, right? This is your break of structure on the 5-minute time frame chart. Now, structure, whenever we talk about the higher time frames, I have always mentioned this statement that the higher time frame you go, the more accurate these things become. You talk about support resistance, you talk about trend lines, you talk about chart patterns or the structure or anything else, right? On the 4-hour time frame chart, the structure, it's very much bullish, but in the 5-minute time frame chart, the structure has turned bearish, and it's a very common thing, right? If you would look at the 4-hour time frame chart, the structure turned to bullish. Last time the structure change happened back on 9th of August, and it's 20th of August today, and the structure is still very much the same, which means that on the 4-hour time frame chart or the higher time frame chart, the structure changes, they are not that common. But if you would move to the smaller time frame chart, 5-minute, 1-minute, 3-minute, these structural changes, these are extremely common, right? Which means that structure has turned bearish just today, and in the next few hours it could simply just be turning bullish. Okay, so that's why I'm saying it's a very risky short position. There are no other confluences present, and I just warned you at the beginning of the live stream also that whenever you see these sort of trend lines information, you would have the idea, you would always know that there is an impulsive break coming towards the upside. Okay, so let's start with the higher time frame update first of all. So this was your last change of character that we got back on 9th of August, right? Which means that the price is very much bullish, and I would be explaining the structure part in detail because some of you have DM'd me asking that since price is continuously making these lower lows and lower highs, I don't know how some of you spotted these lower lows and lower highs, but since some of you mentioned that price is making these lower lows and lower highs, so does this mean that the structure has simply just changed to bearish? So let me first of all respond to this thing. If you would look on the 4-hour time frame chart, the change of character market structure shift happened back on 9th of August, right? This was your change of character, and this is your major swing high at 62,800, and a major swing low is down at $49,500 region, which means that in order for price to continue with its bullish momentum, it needs to break and close a 4-hour candle above 62,800. I have mentioned this in every single live stream of mine that 4-hour structure changes, they don't really happen that often, right? We have seen this especially in context of the historical data for the past 7 to 8 months on the BTC chart. We have seen this clearly that whenever the structure change happens, for example, if the structure changes to bullish, it remains bullish for quite some time. And if structure changes to bearish, it remains bearish for quite some time. We saw the best possible example when price broke and closed below $63,500 region, and I was clearly mentioning that if the 4-hour candle breaks and closes below 63,500, the structure is going to be changing into bearish, and that's what exactly happened. We went straight from 63,800 all the way down to 49,000. That's why I'm saying that structure changes on the 4-hour time frame chart, they are not that common, and they are an absolutely important thing. And structure as of now, it's bullish, and in order for structure to remain bullish, in order for price to continue with this bullish momentum, it needs to break and close above 62,800, a 4-hour candle above, right? And in order for price to turn bearish, it needs to break and close a 4-hour candle below $49,500 region. It's as simple as that. So this is your major swing low, this is your major swing high, these are your two external structural points. Anything which is happening in between these two external structural swing points, it would simply just be called as internal structure, and usually the internal structure, it's absolutely irrelevant. Okay, first of all, let me explain this, all of this to you in terms of a theoretical schematic. So let's imagine that price is moving in a downtrend. It is continuously making these lower lows and lower highs, and at some point in time we break and close a 4-hour candle above the previous high. Now all of these are your break of structures, right? This is your break of structure in this bearish leg. This is your break of structure, right? Now at some point in time price broke and closed a 4-hour candle above this previous high, which means that a change of character or market structure shift happened. Now price started moving something like this, and I'm explaining this to you in exact context of the current BTC chart. This is exactly what's happening on the current BTC chart, right? So price then went on something like this. It started moving something like this. Okay, now in this case you can clearly see that this is your major swing low, and this is your major swing high, right? Which means that these are your external structural swing points. So if price needs to turn bearish back again, it needs to break and close below this major swing low, and if it needs to turn bullish, it needs to break and close a 4-hour candle above this high. Anything which is happening in between these two major structural swing points, these two external structural points, it's absolutely irrelevant, and it simply just means that this is an internal structure in formation. Now, the reason that the majority of the people are getting confused, and first of all, let me explain to you how would you be trading this structure. What exactly is the bookish way of trading this structure? The price was continuously making these lower lows and lower highs. Okay, it was bearish. All you had to do was just be able to identify an impulsive and the corrective wave. This is your impulsive wave and this is your corrective wave. Only if you're able to identify impulsive and corrective wave correctly, all you have to do is just take out your Fib tool, draw Fibonacci retracement from the start of the impulsive wave to the end of the impulsive wave, and you would be taking a short trade at 65, 70.5 or 78.6, whatever level, whatever Fibonacci level, whatever Fibonacci retracement level you prefer, right? You would be taking a short position since the whole structure or the dominant structure, it's simply just bearish. So, in the next leg also, you would be taking out your Fib tool, draw it from the start of the impulsive wave to the end of the impulsive wave, and you would keep on doing this, right? Now that the structure change has happened, market structure shift has happened, all you have to do is once again just take out your Fib tool, draw Fibonacci retracement from the start of the impulsive wave to the end of the impulsive wave, and try to take a long position at 65, 70.5 or whatever level you are looking at. Now the reason where the majority of the people they are confused is that they are looking at these lower lows and lower highs, which is basically an internal structure in formation, and they're thinking that okay, since market is continuously making these lower lows and lower highs, so maybe the structure shift has happened, maybe market is bearish at this moment. But that's not really the case, that's not true. You can watch some of my previous live streams also. The structure reading, it's absolutely important. Structure mapping, it's an absolutely important thing, and you need to identify it correctly, right? In order to develop a bullish or a bearish bias. So in this case, you can clearly see that this is a major swing high, this is a major swing low. Anything that's happening in between these two major structural points, it's simply just internal structure, and it's absolutely irrelevant, right? So people are actually looking at these highs and lows. People are thinking that maybe this is an impulsive, corrective, impulsive, corrective, impulsive, and corrective formation, and then there would be next leg something like this. I'm not ruling out the possibility of price going down to $54,000. If you would go and look at my Twitter account, I did mention that there is every possibility that price could go down and retest at $54,000 region. Now, a very important thing you need to understand is the difference between different time frames. In this theoretical schematic that I showed to you, it looked very simple, right? All you have to do is just take out your Fib tool and draw Fibonacci retracement level. But as soon as it comes to the real chart, real time charts, you are faced with the problem of the time frame. That what exactly is the time frame that you should be looking at? Since we have drawn this whole structure on the 4-hour time frame chart, and I've never really drawn structure on 1 hour or 15-minute or 30-minute time frame charts. I usually always draw it in order to develop a higher time frame bias. I always draw structure on the higher time frames, like on the 4-hour time frame chart, not on daily, not on 12-hour, not on 16 hours. I always do it on the 4-hour time frame charts, right? So in this case, this is an obvious choice of a swing point. All you had to do was just take out your Fib tool, draw Fibonacci retracement from the start of the impulsive wave to the end of the impulsive wave, and take a long position at 70.5, 65% Fibonacci level, whatever is your preferred level. And what exactly would be your invalidation point? I always say this thing that whenever you are placing your stop losses, people pay the least amount of attention towards the stop loss part. But remember that it always needs to be a proper invalidation point. You need to think that, what exactly is the reason that I'm entering into this long position? Because, the market structure shift has happened, and, the structure, it's bullish. That's why I'm entering into this long position. Just like Sherlock said, as soon as the structure shift happens, all you have to do is just be able to identify the impulsive and the corrective wave correctly, draw Fibonacci retracement from the start of the impulsive wave to the end of the impulsive wave, and take a long position at maybe 65% or 70.5% Fib level. That's all you have to do, right? But the important question is that where should I really be placing my stop loss? Your bias into entering this position was because the market structure is bullish. The next question you need to ask yourself is that where exactly this whole structure shift, or where exactly this bullish structure, it would be invalidated. The answer is that I just explained to you at the very beginning of the live stream also, that this bullish structure, it would be invalidated if price breaks and closes below 49,500. That's where bears would be in complete control, because you would have another change of character, you would have another market structure shift. I have not seen this happening during the last 7 to 8 months. Now, once again, this is a very important statement. I have not seen this happening during the last 7 to 8 months. And what exactly is it? Whenever the structure turns bullish, it remains bullish for quite some time. In this case, the change of character has happened, and there has been no break of structure so far, which means that in this new fresh bullish leg, there has been no break of structure so far, which means that only the change of character has happened. But if you would look at the historical data for the past 7 to 8 months, if you would try to map out the structure, you would notice that as soon as a change of character happens, it is immediately followed by few break of structures, right? 2, 3, 4, 5. But in this case, the change of character has happened. For example, if we take this example right here, the change of character happened, market simply just turned bearish. We got the idea that okay, market is now bearish, so we should be looking for short position. First break of structure happened, second break of structure happened, and then price went from 63,800 all the way down to 49,000, right? Which means that 2 break of structures were followed by this change of character. So in this case also, only the change of character has happened, but the break of structures, they have not really happened, which means that there is every possibility that eventually price would break and close above. Looking at the historical data, we can say this thing. the price would eventually break and close above 62,800. And if you would go and watch this live stream of mine in which I explained to you why exactly I will be exiting the majority of my long positions at 68,000, because that's the channel high and there are few important resistance areas at $68,000, you would get an idea that there is every possibility that price would eventually go up to $68,000 region. But once again, the point is that where exactly you should be placing your stop loss below 49,500. It doesn't matter if you are longing at 49, if you're longing at 54,000, 51,000, 58,000, 59,000. If you would ask me, people be saying that, I cannot afford to have a wider stop loss. It's not about the stop loss percentage. The reason you are saying this is because you do not understand the meaning of position sizing. You do not understand the meaning of risk management. I recently had this very beautiful update, shared with my premium members, in which I shared a complete PDF with them, explaining to them that, what exactly is the true meaning of risk management, how to do the position sizing properly. So it wouldn't really matter if you have a 20% stop loss, if you have 1% stop loss, or if you have 60% stop loss. The only downside, the only disadvantage would be that you would be stuck into that trade for a longer period of time. Your margin would be stuck into that trade for a longer period of time. But apart from that, there is absolutely no downside selecting higher stop loss percentage over the smaller stop loss percentage. That's the only disadvantage. If you understand the meaning of risk management, if you know how to do the proper position sizing, you would be losing very much the same amount of money if you have 60% stop loss, or if you have 20%, 2%, 0.5% stop loss. That's exactly how it works. So in this case, all you had to do was just take out your fib tool, identify this impulsive wave towards the upside on the 4-hour time frame chart. Take a long position at 65% or 70.5% fib level. That was completely up to you. Okay. And set the take profit target at $68,000. Place your stop loss below $49,500 region. Now, the reason why I'm saying that there is every possibility that price could be retracing down to $54,000 region is because we are looking on the 4-hour time frame chart. In this theoretical schematic, you had no idea what time frame it is. But in this case, if we look on the 4-hour time frame chart, this is an obvious choice for a swing low, which means that we can absolutely draw Fibonacci retracement starting from this point. I would not get into the details of how exactly do you identify the retracement waves, but just to put it in the simplest possible terms, since this live stream it's over YouTube, so you can simply just try to rewatch it and develop an understanding of what exactly I'm saying. In order to identify the corrective wave in a bullish trend, you need to identify the candle which creates a new high. In this case, this was the candle that created the new high, and then the next candles, without breaking above the high of this candle, need to sweep the low of this candle. Okay, that's how a corrective wave in a bullish trend is basically identified. So all the conditions which I just mentioned to you were met in this case. So you can definitely select this as the start of the impulsive wave and this as the end of the impulsive wave. And you can definitely draw Fibonacci retracement from the start of the impulsive wave from this point to this point. But the question is that if we move to the daily time frame chart, things are not that simple, because in the case of a daily time frame chart, there is no corrective wave present around here, which means that I'm only faced with the choice to draw Fibonacci retracement level from this start of the impulsive wave to this end of the impulsive wave. And you can clearly see that price on the daily time frame chart has only retraced down to 50% Fibonacci level. And I know this thing that I have explained this in the previous live streams also, that it's pretty common for price to retrace only to 50%, 38.2% fib level when the trend it is extremely strong. But in this case, the trend, we can clearly see that it's not that strong, meaning that there is every possibility. Price has been chopping around $60,000 region for quite some time, which means that there is every possibility that price would eventually retrace down to 61.8 or 65% Fibonacci level. And the reason why I'm so much interested in these levels is because if you would turn on the MTF 200 EMA, and by the way, just like I promised to you guys, I gave all of you access to 200 MTF EMA. For those of you who DM'd me over Discord, for those of you who requested this in the Discord channel, I shared this script with all of you. Not in terms of usernames, but it just simply share the script with all of you. All you have to do is just simply go to your TradingView terminal, click on Pine editor, copy paste that script, and it would automatically be added to your chart, right? So in this case, the reason why I'm so much interested in this level is simply because, price has not retraced down to 200 MTF EMA. This was the first bounce, this was the second bounce, and we have not got a full retest of this MTF EMA. So I'm not saying that price would eventually retrace down to 54,000 level, but all I'm saying is that it's not going to be easy for price to break below 54,000, $53,000 region. Why? Because we have not seen this happening in the past. There is this higher time frame daily support area present around here, and by the way, this was not even a break below. If you are thinking that price broke below $53,000 support previously, but on the daily time frame chart, you would notice that this is not really the case. This was simply just a wick below that support region. This was simply just you can call a deviation below that higher time frame support, but we have not seen a break below this support happening. And we have daily time frame Fibonacci fractal present around here, and then we have 200 MTF EMA present around here, and then we have this higher time frame support present around here. And by the way, we have 60-70 people watching this live stream, and only 42 of you have liked this live stream. So I would really appreciate if you would like the live stream and subscribe to my YouTube channel. This really motivates me a lot, in creating more content for you guys. And by the way, I would be doing 3 live streams in this week. The first one is on Tuesday, the second one it's going to be on Thursday, and the third one it's going to be on Saturday, right? So yeah, please make sure to like the live stream, because this really helps me in creating new content for you guys. Anyway, so this is all about BTC at this moment. This is your higher time frame. This is your higher time frame bias on the 5-minute time frame chart. The structure has turned bearish on the 5-minute time frame chart, but it's a very common thing. Sometimes you would see 5-minute structure changes happening on the Bitcoin chart at least 4 to 5 times in a single day, right? Which means that 5-minute structure change it's not that common. But for me, I have identified, I have actually somehow mastered this way of trading the 5-minute time frame chart. Whenever I'm doing scalping, I usually teach this in my mentorship classes also, the complete scalping model. So in this case, I am into this very risky short position. If you would wish to enter into it, that's completely up to you. The second short position that we just entered today was on NMR, since price got rejected from this higher time frame resistance area. And once again, in this case, there is no smaller time frame, there is no lower time frame confirmation, but still I am into this another risky NMR short position. If you would wish to enter, you can clearly do so. The reason for entering this short position was because price basically got rejected from this high volume node. This was the first thing. The second thing is that the structure, it's absolutely bearish. You can clearly see that we have been making these lower lows and lower highs, although we wicked above this high on the daily time frame chart, but this was simply just a sweep above the high, which means that there is no structure shift happening, and there is every possibility that NMR would eventually retrace down to $12 region, and that's where I would simply just flip my bias, and I would be entering into a long position at $12 region, okay, based on the other confluences. But at this point in time, I'm into these 2 short positions. The first one is on Bitcoin and the second one is on NMR. For NMR trade, the entries, they're shared over my Twitter account. You can go and watch the entries and try to enter into that short position. And for Bitcoin, it's simply just right in front of you, right? That's 60,550 is the first entry, and 61,000 is the second entry, and stop loss is simply just 61,350 region, right? Okay, so that's not all about the Bitcoin update, because we need to look at a few other charts also. Now if you have been watching some of my previous live streams also, you would know that I have mentioned this thing always, that if you are confused looking at the Bitcoin chart, you need not to get confused about it, because there are so many other charts that are positively or negatively correlated with the Bitcoin chart. You can look at those charts and develop your bias, and it would automatically be reflected the very same way on the Bitcoin chart. The first chart that we're going to look at is the chart for USDT dominance. Nothing much to be looking around here, honestly. The only thing that I'm looking at, the only thing that I'm interested in about the USDT dominance chart is basically this trend line information, right? So, this was the first bounce of this trend line. This was the second bounce of this trend line. and now this is happening to be the third bounce of the trend line. Now let me explain to you the complete story. Whenever you are trading, whenever you whenever you are entering into your trading journey, you should you need to remember one thing: you should always be good at narrating the stories, and you should always be good at developing the stories, right? So how exactly the story goes from here? You open up the USDT dominance chart and you would spot this trend line, right? And we know this thing that in order for a trend line to be a legitimate one, it needs to at least give price three bounces, right? In this case, these sort of trend lines, we need to have at least three bounces of a trend line, and only then we would say that, okay, this is a good trend line in this situation. So the first bounce happened, the second bounce happened, and the third bounce is happening as of now, which means that this trend line just got confirmed, and now there is every possibility that price in the Bitcoin chart would be retracing slightly, because this is the third bounce of the trend line. But the good thing is that we know, I just at the very beginning of the live stream also, I just explained to you this sort of trend line. I explained to you that whenever this sort of trend line you see on the chart, never ever try to take a short trade, because price eventually would break above this trend line very impulsively. The reason is because all those people who are taking their short trades, they would have their buy stops placed above these highs, and as soon as these buy stops would start triggering, you would see an impulsive move towards the upside, which is very natural, right? And similarly on the USDT dominance chart, obviously you cannot trade this chart, but the point is that if it was a tradable chart, we would know that all those people who were looking at the bounces of these trend lines, they would be placing the stops below these lows, which means that if at any point price breaks below this trend line, it's going to be a very impulsive break towards the downside. But the only challenge that we are faced with, we have discussed this in the previous live streams also, the only challenge that we are faced with is it in terms of MTF EMA. The bounce of MTF EMA or the retest of MTF EMA has not yet happened. If you would look at the historical data, you would notice that almost in 90% of the cases, price always has positively reacted to this MTF EMA on the USDT dominance chart. And by the way, MTF EMA is such a powerful indicator. You talk about Bitcoin chart, you talk about USDT dominance chart, you talk about Ethereum chart, it's absolutely great indicator, right? So in this case, you can see that price breaks above MTF EMA, gives the retest, second retest, and bounces. Breaks below MTF EMA, gives a retest, and gets rejected, right? In this case, price has broken above this MTF EMA, but has not completely retested MTF 200 EMA as of yet, which means that if at any moment, if at any point, even if price breaks and closes below this trend line on the USDT dominance chart, which is basically a chart that is inversely correlated to the Bitcoin chart, meaning that if USDT dominance would go down, price on the Bitcoin chart, it would go up. And if we have to see if we need to see 68K, that's only going to be possible if price first of all breaks below this trend line, breaks below MTF EMA, and then breaks below this higher time frame support area. Which means that looking on the Bitcoin chart, it may sound very easy to you that okay, we are going to just go up to $68,000 region, and then you would look at a much more simpler chart, which is this one, right, on the daily time frame. So this is basically the channel, right? This is basically the bull flag that we are looking at. So we just bounced off, and by the way, we took a very good spot position, if you guys remember, at $54,000 region. I don't know how many of you are still in that spot position or not, but that was really a good catch, because the only bias for taking that spot position was that since price is at the bottom of this channel, so we would be getting the best possible risk to reward ratio. We did not wait for any confirmation, we simply just jumped into that position. At this moment, price is getting rejected off the middle boundary of this middle boundary of the channel, and you would be thinking that it's just an easy path up to $68,000. But even on the Bitcoin chart, you would notice that okay, this is just $68,000. It's simply just an easy move. But on the USDT dominance chart, you would notice that it needs to break below the trend line. It needs to break below this very strong higher time frame support, which is in terms of MTF 200 EMA, and then it needs to break below this horizontal support, right? So that's not really an easy thing. If we have to go up to 68K, price needs to at least break and close below these three higher time frame support areas, which is not going to be an easy thing. Now, finally, let's take a look at BTC USDT.3S chart. There is no point looking at BTC USDT.3L chart. 3L basically means inverse leverage token for Bitcoin, and it's going to be 3 times the inverse leverage token. And in the case of USDT.3S, it's basically once again an inverse leverage token for Bitcoin 3 times, right? But basically it's negatively correlated. The BTC USDT.3L chart, it's positively correlated. The reason why I'm not looking at it is because it looks very much similar to the Bitcoin chart. So, we have already done an analysis on a Bitcoin chart. We should be looking at BTC USDT.3S chart. It's inversely correlated just like USDT dominance. In this case also, you would notice that we have this trend line information, the first bounce, the second bounce, the third bounce, the fourth bounce, which means that at any moment price would be breaking below this trend line. And the moment that this break happens, we know this thing that whenever the break happens, it's going to be a very impulsive break. And how would exactly it be reflected back on the Bitcoin chart? BTC would impulsively move towards $68,000 region. But in this case also, you have this higher time frame support that price has always failed to break below. This was the bounce, this was bounce, 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 bounce. So there are like 5 bounces that have happened above this higher time frame support, meaning that if price has to break above its previous all-time high, it needs to break below this daily time frame support on BTC USDT.3S chart, right? So these are the 3 charts that we had to look at. Bitcoin chart, things are looking good. Not on the smaller time frame, because on the 5-minute time frame chart, the structure it's bearish. But on the higher time frame, you need not to be afraid of anything, because all the odds are in your favor. Even if price goes to $54,000, in my personal opinion, that's going to be an absolute good opportunity to take a long position. Best possible point to enter was at 57,000, 56,000, because all you have to do is, I don't know how many of you are actually paying attention to the things that I mention in these live streams or not, but literally over the past 7 to 8 live streams, I have always talked about structure. And I have always said this one thing: identify corrective and impulsive waves, and then take out your Fib tool, draw Fibonacci retracement, and take a long position at 65% or 70.5% Fib level. It's as simple as that. You just need to draw impulsive and corrective waves correctly, right? All the rest of the things, they would automatically be cleared, right? So in this case, this is all about the Bitcoin chart. This is all about the USDT dominance chart. We need to break and close below these 3 higher time frame supports, and only then you would see some movement on the Bitcoin chart. And finally, you have the bull flag also playing out so far nicely on the Bitcoin chart. We have not seen anything crazy on this, but one thing is for sure, that price has been compressed in this range for past 7 to 8 months. And more the compression phase goes on, the higher the breakout is going to be. We have seen this happening at $38,000. We have seen this happening at $50,000 region, and now we are seeing this happening at $70,000, $60,000 range also. This has been a very compressed range. This is happening to be a very narrow range, which means that the moment breakout happens or the breakdown happens, it could be towards upside, it could be towards downside. Okay, let's not debate on that. But the moment breakout happens, it's going to be a very impulsive break. So once again, if you are not into these 2 short positions, you can take the risk. I would still prefer to take the risk with NMR in comparison to Bitcoin, because the BTC chart is slightly looking riskier, but NMR is looking good. That's a swing position, and that's where I would be moving my stops to break even at 14.458, and that's where I would be opening another long position just to hedge against this short position. All right. By the way, how many of you have already liked and retweeted this pinned post? For those of you who have already done that, please just raise your hand in the chat box. I would be selecting the winners for the giveaway. Please make sure to have liked the live stream also, and make sure to have subscribed to the YouTube channel. Done on the first day itself. Okay, that's good. Simply just drop a text in the chat box for those of you who have already completed the steps for the giveaway, and I would be selecting a random giver, a random winner. Okay, let's take a few questions also, and then I would be announcing the two winners of the giveaway. Denver is asking, Sherlock, so don't you expect price to go up till $65,000 before we see any bearish movement? I did not mention any bearish movement as of now, because price, it's very much bullish at this point. Just like I mentioned, you have 62,800. Price needs to just break and close above 62,800, and as soon as it happens, you would have another break of structure happening in this bullish leg. That's all very much you need, right? And in order for price to turn bearish, it needs to break below 49,500. And we have a huge wick at $49,500 region, which means that there is an obvious demand present around that area. It's not going to be an easy thing. So that's why I'm saying that there is no higher time frame bearish sentiment present from me. It's absolutely a bullish sentiment. But yeah, on just a smaller time frame chart, on the 5 minute time frame chart, the structure shift has happened, and structure shifts on the 5 minute time frame chart, they are extremely common, right? Are we bullish or bearish on the overall market? In terms of Bitcoin, we are bullish. In terms of structure, we are bullish till $68,000 region. But in terms of altcoins, I cannot really say the same thing because it's an entirely different situation with altcoins. I know that people have been looking at too many charts saying that that's when the altcoin rally would be happening. That's when the real bull run would be starting from. But I just explained to you in the simplest possible terms that open up the BTC dominance chart, Bitcoin dominance chart, draw this trend line. You can clearly see that this trend line has been long held. Price has never broke below on the weekly time frame chart. Price has always failed to break below this trend line. And then you have MTF 200 EMA on the weekly time frame chart. So there is no bull run, there is no altcoin rally for me happening until and unless we break below this trend line, and then we break below this MTF 200 EMA on the weekly time frame chart. And the moment it happens, we know this thing, looking at the trend lines, that whenever the break below the trend lines happen, those breaks, they are very impulsive ones, which means that the break would be happening. I don't know when, obviously you cannot predict the timing. It would be happening, but the moment it happens, it's going to be a very impulsive break, and that's when you would see the real altcoin rally. All right, you need not to be looking at any other chart. You need not to look at individual charts. Simply just open up the Bitcoin dominance chart, and that's all you need to do. Fib levels on the daily doesn't seem much convincing. Why exactly is this? All you have to do is, on the daily time frame chart, this is your low, this is your high. You have huge wicks towards the upside and downside, which means that there is higher probability that fib levels, they would be working. 61%, 65% have not been retested as of yet. You have MTF 200 EMA on the daily time frame chart not been retested as of now. So there is every possibility that price could be retracing down to these levels and bouncing from these levels also. To be very honest, enjoy the moment is saying that, to be very honest, I'm having big confusion in identifying stop losses. Why exactly is the case? Why exactly is this the case? Could you please be a little bit more specific? Do you Professor J is asking, do you focus on smaller time frames when close to market openings? No, I'm never really paying attention to the market opens. Usually, I know that Unintentionally, I might be looking at the market opens and reactions to it, especially the New York Open, but usually I'm never really incorporating market structures or smaller time frames, in terms of market openings and all that. I'm usually always looking at the higher time frame charts, 4 hour time frame charts, since I'm a swing trader. So that's how it is. So what will you call the recent rallies for alts from October to April? Um, Good question, actually. But, you know, my counter question is that do you really consider them rallies? Because if you would look at majority of these altcoins, they are even down below their bear market lows. So if you're calling, if a coin is 90% down from its all-time high, and then you see a 10%, 15%, 20% pump happening, I wouldn't really call it a rally. By rally, I mean to say, prices going above their previous all-time highs. So, once again, the majority of these coins, they're even down below their bear market lows. You talk about LTO, you talk about OP, you talk about so many of these other altcoins. So for me, that's not really the definition of a rally. Are you expecting Bitcoin dominance to go to 60? I'm not predicting the higher targets, but all I'm saying is that keep in view this trend line. Keep a close watch at this trend line. If price breaks below this trend line and empty of 200 EMA, it's going to be an absolute party for the altcoins. But that's not really happening as of now. Would you recommend using scalping or higher time frame trading for growing a smaller account? For growing a smaller account, I would say that even if you have to do scalping, even if you have to do something on the smaller time frame chart, you can use multi time frame analysis, or you can do the top down approach, right? For example, in this case, I just showed you that 5 minute time frame structure, it turned bearish. So instead of simply just taking a random short position at somewhere in the middle, what you can do is that you can wait for a price to get to some higher time frame support or resistance area. So let's suppose that this is your higher time frame resistance area. You would wait for price to get to this higher time frame resistance area as soon as it happens in order to find the best possible entry, instead of just entering into the position blindly. And I'm telling you this, that this strategy has saved me from so many losing trades, right? If price gets to some higher time frame resistance area, you cannot really enter into a short position blindly. What you can do is that you can do the multi time frame analysis. You can use top down approach. You can go to the smaller time frame charts, 5 minute, and then you would be waiting for the structure shift on the smaller time frame charts, because on the smaller time frame charts, the structure shifts, they don't happen easily, right? It's not that every now and then the structure shift would be happening, especially in the 5 minute time frame chart, right? So if price on the 5 minute time frame chart gives you a structure shift, you would enter into a short position. If it doesn't give you any structure shift, then it just would mean that price is not reacting to this resistance area. So even if you're growing a small account, and even if you are a fan of scalping, you can do it using smaller time frame, but using multi time frame analysis, right? Points, enjoy the moment is saying points I learned, follow schedule. Follow. Yeah. BTC is still looking bullish for now. Yes, it's on the high time frame chart. It's definitely looking bullish. NMR dumping, seen that shit to hell. If you are into NMR short position, just wait for price to get to 14.411, and that's where you would move the stops break even. That's around like 4% move from entry. Okay, so for those of you who just raised their hands in the chat box, I'm going to select two random winners. You would join the Discord server. The link for the Discord server, it's right there in the description box. You would join the Discord server, and you would share the proof, and we would be select, and you would share the address in the ticket, in the support ticket, and we would be simply just sending you your prize money. So the first winner, I guess it's okay. So many of you have participated in this, I guess. So the first one is Yin and Yang. Okay. I don't know what sort of a name it is, but Yin and Yang. Okay. So Yin and Yang, you are the winner. Please make sure to just, join the Discord server and, open up your support ticket, and you are the winner for the giveaway. And let me just announce the second winner also real quick. I would just be doing it randomly. So the second one is Nope. The one with Bitcoin PFP. So Nope and Yin and Yang, you guys can simply just click the link in the description of this live stream, join the Discord server, open a support ticket, share the proof with us, and we would be sending you your prize money. Okay. So once again, guys, thank you so much for joining in. Don't worry, we have another giveaway coming for next Thursday. Okay, just after 2 days we would be having another giveaway, so you can join these live streams and you would be winning the giveaway next time. Okay, so please make sure to join the Discord server and keep yourself updated with all of the recent developments that are happening. So thank you so much for joining in. Take care and have a great week ahead. Thank you.